Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I would like to present my advanced listening project 4. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Zainida Fikriyahsniar with name 33210046. I'm from class 334A707. Without even further ado, let's get started. Part 1. Retell that audio using your own words. Tonight, 10 o'clock news. First news. A new Buddhist temple has opened on the outskirts of the city, with the opening ceremony being a success and attended by people of different faiths. Second news. Mobile phone prices have hit an all-time low, making it the cheapest time in history to buy and use a mobile phone due to increased network usage and price competition. Third news. A woman named June Ryder from the West Bank has completed the world's longest bus journey, staying on the double-decker for 621 days before deciding to stop after her third grandson was born. Fourth news. An animal sanctuary is set to open next week on the outskirts of the city, funded by the local council, aiming to save neglected pets and local wildlife. Donation can be made through a hotline. Fifth news. Health officials are promoting the consumption of fresh food and vegetables to encourage residents to increase their intake from 4 to 7 portions per day. Diet high in fruits and vegetables reduce the risk of life-threatening illnesses. Sixth news. The weather forecast indicates a chilly day tomorrow with a top temperature of 8 degrees. The evening may be windy with possible overnight showers. The same weather pattern is expected for most of the weekend. Part 2. Create a note. It all began a week or so ago, when the weak queen who turned Bertie into a frog was taking a walk by the pond in the palace gardens. She stopped by to have a long chat with Colin. Colin asked how her royal weakness was doing, and she started on ever such a long ramble, because she hates when she sees the little children who were always leaving their toys lying around the throne room, and Barker his stupid palace dog, who runs up and slobbers over her hand, even though she doesn't like animals. And above all she complained about the king, but the king never defended her and told her to show a little mercy. The weak queen is angry about that. Colin sympathizes with her and expresses his belief in proper governance. Intrigued by his defense, the queen used her magic to transform Colin into a human king. Colin, who has been transformed into a human king, finds himself sitting on a throne adorned with diamonds. Initially confused, he is informed by a servant that Princess Beatrice is about to enter the room, accompanied by a group of young girls from the palace. Colin has previously held negative opinions about Beatrice, considering her snotty and horrible. However, when Beatrice greets him with kindness, compliments his appearance, and kisses his hand, Colin's perception changes, and he realizes she is not so bad after all. After that, the little girls who had come with Beatrice were all wearing pink dresses, and they all did pretty little curtsies. However, Colin noticed that the weak queen sitting on the throne next to him whispered that she was annoyed and suggested turning the little girls into tadpoles and sending them to eat the green slime in the pond. King Colin was surprised by Beatrice's words and asked her not to do that. Later in the morning, the counselor who was in charge of all the gold and treasure in the kingdom came to consult with the king. He said that they had collected more money than expected, and he was wondering what they should spend it on. Princess Beatrice was impressed to hear that, and she gave suggestion to build a new children's hospital for all the little ones who were poorly. When the weak queen heard this, she defied her and demanded that the money be used to build a new palace instead. Of course, King Louis refused the weak queen's request, and so the day went on, until King Louis, who initially strived to become a popular and loved ruler by practicing kindness and making new laws. However, his attempts backfired as he bans fishing and football, leading to the anger of the people. During a speech addressing the crowd, Colin is mocked and called cold-faced. The weak queen reveals her own selfish desires, further fueling the people's anger. In the midst of the chaos, the queen used her magic to turn Colin back into a fish. As a fish, Colin realizes his ignorance and finds solace in swimming with a tadpole named Tim. The story concludes with the notion that putting a fish in charge only leads to trouble, while frogs are considered more royal. Part 3. Make a note for this story. Once upon a time, there lived an old man, old woman, and a little boy. One day, the old woman decided to bake a gingerbread man. She shaped the dough into a man and added icing for his hair and clothes, as well as small blobs of dough for his nose and eyes. Before putting the gingerbread man into the oven, she asked the little boy to keep an eye on it while she and the old man went to work in the garden. As the old couple began digging potatoes, the little boy became lost in his daydreams and didn't pay close attention to the oven. Suddenly, he heard a noise and looked up to see the oven door pop open. Without wasting a moment, the gingerbread man leaped out of the oven and started rolling and over and towards the open door of the house. The little boy rushed to close the door, but the gingerbread man was too fast, swiftly rolling through the door, down the steps, and out onto the road before the boy could catch him. The little boy cried out to his grandparents, who heard the commotion and abandoned their gardening tools to join the pursuit. However, the gingerbread man outpaced all three of them, quickly disappearing from the sight. Exhausted, the old man, the old woman, and the little boy had to stop and catch their breath, sitting down on a nearby bank. The gingerbread man continued his journey, and soon he encountered two men who were digging a well. Curious about his destination, they called out to him, asking where he was going. The gingerbread man proudly declared that he had already outrun an old woman, and a little boy, and he could outrun them too. Challenged by his words, the men abandoned their picks and chased after him. However, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't catch up to the swift gingerbread man. Exhausted, they had to give up and rest by the roadside. Underrated, the gingerbread man passed on and came across two men who were digging a ditch. They too inquired about his destination, and he repeated his boastful claim of outrunning everyone he had encountered so far. The men, enticed by the challenge, dropped their spades and pursued the gingerbread man. But just like the others, they failed to catch him, and they eventually con- conceded defeat, sitting down to rest. Continuing his journey, the gingerbread man soon encountered the bear. The bear asked him where he was going, and the gingerbread man confidently listed at those he had outpaced, including the bear himself. Unimpressed, the bear growled and set off in pursuit. However, no matter how fast the bear ran, the gingerbread man never looked back, and before long the bear realized it was futile to continue the chase. Weary, the bear settled down by the roadside to rest, acknowledging that he should have given up at the beginning. And so the adventurers an elusive gingerbread man carried on with his escape, leaving behind a trail of exhausted pursuers unable to catch up to his remarkable speed. The gingerbread man continued his relentless journey and eventually encountered a wolf. The wolf inquired about his destination, and the gingerbread man confidently listed all of the beings he had already outrun, including the wolf, challenged by the gingerbread man's words. The wolf snarled and began chasing him at full speed. However, no matter how hard the wolf tried, the gingerbread man's incredibly swiftness proved insurmountable. Realizing the futility of his pursuit, the wolf resigned himself to rest. Undeterred, the gingerbread man pressed forward and soon came across a fox resting quietly in a corner of a fence. The fox called out to him, asking where he was going. Once again, the gingerbread man boasted about outrunning all his previous pursuers, including the fox. The fox, feigning difficulty in hearing, requested the gingerbread man to come closer. Intrigued, the gingerbread man momentarily halted his race and approached the fox, shouting his accomplishment in a loud voice, still pretending to struggle with hearing. Fox urged the gingerbread man to come even closer, tilting its head and putting a paw behind its ear. As the gingerbread man leaned closer to the fox, he promptly screamed out his long list of outrun pursuers. However, to his dismay, the fox yelled with excitement and swiftly snatched at the gingerbread man in its sharp teeth. In the blink of an eye, the story of the gingerbread man came to the end. While some may find the ending sad, Berkeley holds a different opinion. He argues that gingerbread is incredibly delicious and doesn't blame the fox for wanting to devour it. Although there is a valid point in that perspective, if worth nothing that this gingerbread man was no ordinary treat, it possessed the extraordinary ability to run. That's all from me. I know there's still a mistake in this video. I'm so sorry. And as I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Bye bye.